This was actually a quite difficult video to make because in front of you, you have the ASTROLAB 37, and I am not quite sure who it's for, but I'm also pretty sure that I'll be using it quite a bit. And I'm not sure what to make of that. The ASTROLAB 37 is what happens if you take the original ASTROLAB and just slim it down quite a lot. And it's a form factor I quite like. It's one of the positives. Just for size reference, here's a cup of coffee, so you can see that it's a very tiny synthesizer. I really like the size because it can actually fit in a hardware synth setup. More about that later. And I want to be crystal clear in today's video. Even though Arturia sent over the ASTROLAB, I'm going to talk about the negatives as well, because there are some things that frustrate me, there are some bad things about it, but there's also some good things. One of the good things, at least for me, is the size. I really like this small form factor. And a second thing that is good about it is the sound. It sounds really good. It actually sounds fantastic. You can do all kinds of sounds from pianos to strings. The synth sounds. And I have to say that I don't know any small form factor synthesizer that can do this kind of range of sounds. And the reason why it's so versatile is because it's basically analog lab in a hardware synth. So you can fill it up with sounds from most of Arturia's soft synths. And what about polyphony? It ranges from around 40 voices on the least CPU demanding instruments to 16 or 8 on the more demanding synthesizers. But there's also two big negatives. Firstly, that you can't edit sounds on the synth itself, not even if you connect a smartphone or a tablet. In terms of editing sounds on the synth itself, we have these four knobs here, and we have these four knobs for control over the effects. So I've turned on the arpeggiator, and we can increase the brightness of the sound. It is often some sort of filter control, but it doesn't have to be. And timbre is the second one, usually resonance, but could be something else that changes the tone of the sound. And then we have time, which changes an envelope usually. So you can hear that when we increase it, we kind of smoothen out the sound. And then we have movement, which often introduce some sort of rhythmic aspect to the sound or change of an LFO or something like that. Here it's some kind of stereo panning. And if we go to my favorite sound, we can take a look at the effect section. So here we have reverb and delay, and you can hold a button like that to actually access the settings for the delay and different kinds of delays and different kinds of reverbs. And there are different presets for it, as well as different settings for it. And then we have these two insert effects here, effects A and B. If we hold it, you can see that we have a pretty wide selection of effects here. And there's, again, a few settings for each of the effects. When you connect the ASTROLAB to your smartphone or tablet, what you get is a more advanced librarian, but you don't get any more advanced editing capabilities than what is already on the hardware itself. Instead, you use the app to better organize your sounds and playlists, and to download new sounds or even purchase them, even though I think they're quite expensive. A big positive is that installing new sound packs is actually very smooth, and once they're downloaded and installed, they just pop up on the synth itself. If you connect ASTROLAB to a computer and use Analog Lab, it comes with the synthesizer, you can actually edit a few more things. One of the more useful features here is the ability to remap the macro controls, the 4 knobs on the ASTROLAB. And this is one editing function that I'd like to see brought over to the smartphone app and the tablets app. So in standalone use, when it's not connected to a computer, you should look at it as a preset player. Now, it's a very good preset player, but still. And the keyboard itself has aftertouch, but not polyphonic aftertouch. A little bit of a missed opportunity there. I would have really liked polyphonic aftertouch. And the feel of the keybed is, well, it's okay, but not great. The second negative is the price. It's not gonna be cheap. I think people will look at this and say, yeah, 400, 500 makes sense, but it's gonna be more expensive than that. And honestly, for most of my regular viewers who are very into synthesizers, this is probably not gonna be a good investment. Unless you are a little bit like me and you have actually been looking for a small form factor synthesizer that can do all kinds of sounds, from pianos to strings, realistic sounds, to good sounding synth sounds for your hardware synth setup. When I put together this setup here with the Relic sequencer and the Synthact as a drum machine, the ASTROLAB started to make more sense. Basically, I'm using it like a sound module with a little keyboard. So here's a jam I did with a piano sound on the ASTROLAB. Sure, you can't tweak the sounds that much on it, but that doesn't really matter that much because the alternative to having the ASTROLAB here would be to have a big keyboard like the MoDX, for example. And there's so many times where I just wanted a piano sound as part of my DAWLESS synth setup, and I've looked at the MoDX and it's like, where do I fit it on my table? Next up, we got to talk about what I think is a huge missed opportunity here. On this preset here, we have 2 icons here. That means that it's a 2-part multi-timbral sound, meaning that it can play back 2 sounds at the same time. So we have this sound here, and on track number 1, we are controlling this sound. And in the middle of the beat, we got drums and bass from the Synthact. Now this works really well, and I like having a synth that can play back 2 sounds at the same time. Saves a lot of space here on the table. It's nice to just bring up, say, a bass and a lead, for example. But there's one problem. The original ASTROLAB was 2-part multi-timbral, and you could set it up from the keyboard itself. And the ASTROLAB 37 is also 2-part multi-timbral, so you can have 2 sounds playing at the same time. You can sequence them using an external sequencer. This works pretty well. However, there is one big problem, and that is that you can't set up the split on the keyboard itself. So this preset here with the bass and a lead sound It's made over on the computer and then imported into the ASTROLAB 37. You can't actually set it up on the synth itself. And to me, this is a big missed opportunity, because having a two-part multi-timbral synthesizer that I could sequence in a small synth setup like this, it makes sense. It's interesting. It's one of the things that it had going for it, and I do hope Arturia is listening and that they can make this happen with future firmware, having the ability to select one sound, then select an additional sound, splitting it across the keyboard, or just layering it on the keyboard itself. I don't want to do it in the computer. With an external sequencer connected, there's even presets here that have a drum kit and a synth sound. It's nothing spectacular, but you get the kind of idea here that if you could create these splits here on the keyboard, it could actually be quite useful in a DAWLESS synth setup. So that was my little video about the ASTROLAB 37. Let me again reiterate, I don't think it's a synthesizer for most of you. I am hesitant to recommend it unless you are specifically looking for a way to bring the V collection and pigment sounds with you on the go, maybe for the stage, because yes, even a small form factor synthesizer like this can make sense on the stage. I remember selling my DX100 to a performing musician, and if you know what the DX100 is, well, first and foremost, you know that it's not an easy to program synth, so it's basically a preset player, and it's also very small. So in a way similar to the ASTROLAB 37. And the other way that it could make sense is using it in a hardware synth setup, because it's so small, won't take up a ton of space. You have a wide range of sounds. There are not many synths on the market that can provide that wide range of sounds, everything from pianos to synth sounds. So for somebody like me with a hardware synth setup, it could be interesting because of its form factor, not in despite of it. So yeah, I hope I've clearly explained the pros, the cons, the negatives, and yeah, what I think about it. It was a little bit of a complicated video to make because I do enjoy using it as a musician. I do enjoy making music using the sounds on it, but it's also expensive and I'm not entirely sure what to make of it still. Like I would have made different choices if I were Arturia. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and as always, hope to catch you in the next video. Gotta find some stuff here in the studio.